Okay, here's an example of the sheer stupidity of government right here. This is a crosswalk onto a sidewalk that just goes over here. See, this sidewalk is accessible to a one wheelchair, so a wheelchair can go up here, walk over there, turn around, come back, and cross this street, and walk to the end of this street, and walk to the end of that street. No buses come over here. You have to walk down to here just to get on that sidewalk. But once you get over here, you can get on that sidewalk until you have to go to the place where you have to get off the sidewalk to do anything. See, there's no, look at this. This is the perfect one right there. Look at this. This is a ramp for a wheelchair. This is the epitome of the whole thing. This is the epitome of the stupidity of government. The law requires this to be here, even though it's perfectly acceptable to make things pedestrian unfriendly. Because how dare you get to where you need to be? How dare you walk around freely when you're not paying liability insurance premiums? You know. But here's one. There, this is good. See the ramp? Dawn could have gotten your chair up here. Dawn would have had no problem getting your chair up here. Well, she could probably walk in the grass and go over here if she wanted to, or she could probably avoid the things altogether because these accessible points generally would disable a wheelchair because they can't go anywhere once they get up on there. So they make people disabled. So they actually hinder people's disabilities. They actually add to people's disabilities. Those ramps make people more disabled because once they get on there, there are things they can't do anything but get off of there. If you're stuck on a sidewalk where the only place you can go is to get off of there, you're more disabled when you got up there. So those actually are well, it's accessible to more areas, but it doesn't have anything to do with making them less handicapped. Letting the people use them make it less handicapped. I was going to talk about what time is it now? 6:54. So I got plenty of time. I don't have to worry. I got 36 minutes before I need to go into work across the street right over there at Floyd. But I'm going to walk around here. I was going to talk about the Affordable Care Act because I thought that this was one of these days I'm going to try to say what this is. Peak tyranny was 1980 or 2010 on the March 2010 when that passed. And I thought this was the most obscene, that was peak tyranny. I called the Affordable Care. And it wasn't generally the entire Affordable Care Act itself. It was specifically the individual mandate. The idea they're now going to force people to buy health insurance now. I have to say, are you fucking kidding me? You're going to force people to stay alive. Okay, now, I mean, that is the most egregious thing I ever heard. A law that's going to force people to stay alive, forcing free people just to stay alive, and charging them money to stay alive. I just thought that was the most cannibalistic. The Affordable Care Act, the individual mandate on the Affordable Care Act is the most cannibalistic law I've ever heard of. You seriously telling me you're going to force people to stay alive just so you can leech off of them? You're going to force men to buy health insurance so they can stay alive, so they can work in factories, so they work in monotonous jobs that they can't stand. Just shut up and do what you're told, so they can put money into the health service, so that people who are bound by the state, people who are more dependent on the state, can get their free health care more or less. For their purposes, well, the men are paying into it. Well, see, men pay more into health care. Men pay more into it. Women use more health care than men do. It's the way it is. So, if a socialist medical system, which had men and women paying proportionally to how much care they get, that might be a little more fair. But if they're paying the same thing, it's horribly abusive to men because men don't pay as much as women do. No, it's a way of getting men. The men who can't get laid are going to pay for. No, it's women trying to get men whom they won't fuck to pay for their medical care. The men are Okay? Men are fuckable. Men are either fuckable or taxable. If you're taxable, get in the factory and start working, boy. That's what it's about. Keeping the men alive and enslaved. Well, so I saw the Affordable Care Act as the most, or I saw the individual mandate as the most. So the reason why I voted for Trump in 2016 is because he was more likely he'd be, and because of what he did, which was get rid of that. He passed. He didn't even have to. See, thought it was so bizarre that they kept on saying repeal and replace. No, get rid of the damn thing. Replace it with an amendment that prevents it from coming back again. You know, if anything. But this whole idea that the Republicans were saying, oh, let's get another bill. Hey, this bill that forces people to buy health insurance let's get a law that forces people to buy health insurance that doesn't have Obama's name on it. That's exactly what I wanted. I didn't. Well, Trump did the good thing and just passed a law that got rid of the individual mandate, but didn't even get rid of the law, so it's just going to fall apart on its own. Now, it's not politics that I can. It's that the law itself forces people. The law costs people hundreds of dollars, thousands. Some people cost thousands of dollars just because single men who don't necessarily want health insurance. Single men living alone who don't want health insurance, who don't care about their own health. There are plenty of single men who take care of their own health their own way. It's their business how they do it. This law is well, men have to keep humiliating jobs they have just to pay for their health insurance. They have to stay so they can make it. They have to pass up opportunities because they have to make sure they got their job has the insurance that covers everything they want to have, and have to pay for it. They don't have enough money to pay for things they want in their life because they're forced to pay to keep themselves alive by forcing. This is the most. That's I said the most. Obamacare was cannibalism. I consider it was the way you're going to forcing people to stay alive, so they have to kill themselves in order to get out of buying health insurance. You make it so making people so they have to kill themselves in order to get out of buying health insurance is good. Is good. How the fuck are you supposed to? Right, which is the enslavement of men by women. Socialism is the enslavement of men by women. And socialism is the enslavement of men by women. That's what I'm saying. I truly believe socialism is the enslavement of men by women. And I think socialized medicine is an example of socialism that's enslaving men to pay for the medical care of women. Mostly getting ugly neck-bearded guys who can't get laid to pay for the birth control of women so they can fuck other men. Like I said, men are two things, fuckable or taxable. But bitcoins are going to make them untaxable. Right, they're putting their wealth, they're locking their wealth behind cryptocurrency. Pretty soon there are going to be a lot of people with lots of wealth who wonder what the hell they're doing. What are they doing? How come we don't see neck-bearded geeks anymore? How come they don't seem unhappy? Well, they're infuriating. They infuriate. I believe these neck-bearded geeks are infuriated. Let me see if I can find my There it is. Now there it is. Okay, that's the way to do it. Let me make sure this is tight enough in here. No, I'm doing it the wrong way. I'm tightening it the wrong way. There it is. There, okay. Now this is, I'll go around this way. There we go. I'll go. There, I think this is working for me. There. There we go. Now I can see myself walking, and instead of just seeing my face, I can see a little more. Well, now I forget where I was talking. But I just remember this is I was talking about the egregiousness of laws that force people to do things. I mean, compelled activity. That's generally when people tend to run afoul of laws and or policies the last straw is when there's some kind of compelled activity. For example, Jordan Peterson. He came to attention because he came to attention because of a compelled speech law. Because the idea that, one, it wasn't just compelled speech that bothered him. That was far from the only thing that bothered him, but that was something that was a last straw, something he would not do. He's not going to comply with a law that tells him to do something, no matter how. Oh, come on, why not? Why don't you just do it? It's not that bad. Well, this seems like a lot of people seem to be having this. It's not that. Well, this is the way they. Well, this is how they try to do it. They come up with something that's not particularly egregious. And that's not a slippery. That's somebody talked about us, mentioned to him. Don't you think that's a slippery slope, Dr. Peterson? I don't think that. You don't think that forcing people to use neologisms, to use pop not neologisms. You don't think forcing people to use pop neologisms? No, this thing's going to blow over, and it's absurdity with these made-up new pronouns. These are these children. Okay, these university children are role-playing. It seems like playing doctor and stuff like that. They did as kids. Let's do this. Dress are playing with dolls. I don't think they let the girls play with dolls anymore, because that would suggest that mothering is a natural state for a woman to be in for some reason, and that's a terrible thing to have. Apparently, mothering is something a woman should not be doing. Apparently, that's. So when they get into university, the first time they're ever unsupervised by their mothers, and I wouldn't say their fathers, because their fathers are most likely not present in their lives. The father they're sperm donors. I don't know what do their sperm donors have to do with them? They get in there and they start making up these fake gender things, because they needed to do that before they were 20. They needed to play games like that. They needed to play identity games before they were 20, but their mothers wouldn't let them do that. So now they're going into university, and egomaniacal tenured faculty are giving them these roles to play now, and manipulating, turning it into political activists. This is how he came, because it was the compelled speech law that got him to the edge. Now the other side, Brett Weinstein, he came into this fold of the so-called intellectual dark web that his brother named because of a compelled absence request, and which he'd. Before, both of these people had agreed to everything up to that point, more or less, that they have gone along with everything that they'd been doing. Some of them, Weinstein himself, had gone along with everything and actually agreed with it until this, while Peterson probably didn't agree with everything that was going on regarding his objection, but his last straw was being compelled to do something. And this is why I totally turned against. I found that the individual mandate of the Affordable Care Act was the last straw as far as me as believing any faith. I had absolutely no faith in state power at that point. When the United States government passed a law that was forcing people to buy health insurance, I completely lost faith. Government is not in good faith. Government is not done in good faith. Government is done not trusting. They don't trust the reason why I don't. First of all, it's not their business to tell me to buy something for myself. They don't trust me to take care of myself. They have no right to make me take care of myself. So this was not done in good faith. This was done to get money from me to pay for other people. If I don't care about my health, I'm going to pay for other people's health. That's what it was about. That was in bad faith. So government is in bad faith. Government is the work of the devil. Government is Satan. The state is Satan because it is done in bad faith. Government is the devil. I remember back when I was a libertarian atheist, I was saying, well, I may not believe in God, but I certainly, if there's any devil if I have any religion, my God is definitely the state. My devil is definitely the state. My Satan is the state. My Satan is government. And now that now that I understand what God is, I believe in God. I know what it means to believe in God. I know what it means to believe in heaven and hell. I confirm, yes, Satan is government. Government is Satan. Politics is Satan worship. Government is Satan worship as far as I'm concerned. It's equivalent to Satan doing Satan's work. Government is doing Satan's work. Not all politicians are Satan's servants, but not all politicians act in good faith, not act in bad faith all the time. But government itself is always done in bad faith. It's forced upon all people against their will. That's not trusting. That's in bad faith. So government is satanic. And look at these nice flock of geese. Sorry, excuse me. I should stop. I'm going to stop making this video right now. I got to be careful sometimes because there's some interest. It's about time I go into work now. And this is a 50. What is this? I think it's a 15, 16 minute long video. I should probably just. I'm just talking randomly. I'm going to put this up on YouTube and see if any. And maybe sometime, maybe somebody will say something about it. Maybe I'll start being inspired to make more structured videos if anybody starts to have any discussion of these things. But since I'm not really putting this up there for any, I'm not going to put any fanfare with these original videos now. But I know I got to do something with videos because I don't know why did Dawn had me buy so much video equipment and didn't even need to know how much I was spending on it. This was the kicker. She didn't even know how much I spent. You must have spent at least $200. You must have spent almost $300 on that stuff. Oh my gosh, I probably spent at least. Well, I spent at least $500. I spent about $500 on the stuff that we got that's video related. And this doesn't include this phone either. I'm using this phone or the software I'm using on it. And this phone itself is $400. I never thought I'd be so extravagant. I never thought I'd be a person who'd even have a cell phone, but now I get, among the best that I can find because this is a tool for me. This is my portable computer. This is what I needed all my life. Yep, this is what I needed all my life, a computer to carry with me. And this is what I have. Well, I have time to go into work, time for me to start earning the money that I used to buy this stuff. Love y'all. Bye.